I know Dana's been on record, been like 10 months. He's taken 10 months. I don't know. Why you say 10 months? I thought originally I thought the baby was being born in March, and then it was May. So I was like, well, maybe I could get him in a room. But I just don't know. I'm weighing up my options. But again, I expect that conversation. I expect them to fly that jet to me. Ari, Patrick, the new owners from WME, IMG, the guys that bought the UFC for $4 billion. I want to speak to them. I want to see what their plan is. Because right now, I don't know what nobody's plan is. All I know is they're trying to type onto a keyboard and say, we're taking this belt and we're taking that belt and we're doing this and we're doing that. You ain't doing nothing without contacting me first. So I'm ready for anything. Like, I did say I was going to take a break, but I was going to a Christmas break, the holidays. Okay. At least give me the holidays off. So, look, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future.
Well, look, best of luck with everything next year. Thank you for coming to talk to us, and happy Christmas.
Thank you.
I'm enjoying the fruits of my hard work. Nobody works harder than me inside the octagon, outside the octagon. I am a workhorse, so I'm going to enjoy the benefits of this life. I'm going to get myself a big mansion in Las Vegas. I'm going to get the soft top cars. I'm going to bring my whole team out. I'm going to spoil them and give them this life. Big steaks that size, we're eating every single night each. We're eating good, we're living good. It's human nature. Some people will sit and take positivity from that. They will look at that and take inspiration and inspire. It will inspire them to go and push for that. Others will shell up and critique it and be negative towards it. But one thing is for sure, those people will stay where they are. The people who take inspiration from it will rise up and also one day experience that life. So this is human nature. Some go one way, some go the other way. But I am enjoying my money, my hard-earned money that I have dedicated my life to. A lot of people are in search of the answer. A lot of people are in search of the answer, thinking that their surroundings are not good. But I was never like that. I always believed in where I came from. I always believed in my team that we were the best, and I was right. You know, people leave their coaches and go to new gyms, and it's a sign of a weak fighter to me. It's a weak mind, and it will be shown somewhere down the line that you have a weakness in that. But for me, I have a bulletproof team, a team from day one, and that's a benefit for me. I take confidence in that.
One thing that I really admire about you that I think a lot of people might overlook is that, you know, you have all these new riches and these new deals, Reebok, Monster and all that, but I really admire your relationship with your girlfriend, because what I find very interesting, she's here, she seems to be a big part of your camp. You flaunt your wealth and all that, and you should be proud of it. But someone who's of your stature, a young guy, you can have whatever you want, right? The world is at your fingertips. And someone of your position might have a girlfriend of many years, but they might keep that quiet because you want to portray a certain image. You flaunt your relationship with your girlfriend to the world as well, tweets and stuff. It seems like you're a very happy man. I think that's, in this day and age, you don't see that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I think it's the juxtaposition there of a guy who is very loyal to someone who's been with him since before all this came, and all the newfound riches together makes for a very interesting person.
That's a good look.
You always do that. You always do 3 out of a second. I say 30 seconds, he does 29. He 3 meals all the finish time. I say do a minute, he gives me 59.
Doc, I'm supposed to take it from pain.
No. But the thing is, I'd never ask him to do something I wouldn't do myself. So, you know, I've done this before. So, yeah, I feel your pain.
What's the power you're banging out?
That's
the power, was it?
No.
Was it not?
Nah, it's okay.
That's classified.
You're beat up. It's classified information. You ready to go? We'll discuss it afterwards. Okay, let's go.
We gave the extra already over from last time, so I quit. Don't let those lost score. Listen to the sound. There you go. That's it, get it. 15 seconds. Pick it up. That's it. Back up again.
There you got it, get it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time.
See you next time.
What's next?
See what you call it, whatever he does, he always wants to go down the floor. He goes to the kayak, he wants to do the 50%. He watches this documentary on bodybuilding, he wants to be in the school. Everything he sees, and then he sees what he wants to do.
X Games.
The work doesn't stop. Not tiring.
Your cafeteria is very nice now.
right.
Every time I get here, it gets better and better.
We have kale shakes and everything. Just your thoughts about a fight card at Madison Square Garden. There was probably a few times you figured this wasn't going to happen. Looking back at everything from this point to then, what was the biggest challenge to get this to Cope?
Well, it's never that I thought it wouldn't happen. It was just a matter of when would it happen. Obviously it took a lot longer than I thought it would take. 8 years is a long time. But to finally, listen, Madison Square Garden has had our back the whole time. They've been big supporters, and I appreciate them a lot. And obviously to be in that historical building where not just all the great fights have been, but you know, all the great performers that have performed there. I knew, not just for the fans and not just for the fans of New York, but also for Madison Square Garden, I wanted to deliver the biggest, baddest card in combat sports history.
What is planned for the build-up? Obviously a big week, and New York is going to be a great subplot to all of this as the fights go on. What do you expect?
Absolutely. I think New York's as big as much a story as the fight card itself, and all the different fighters are there. And, you know, this Saturday is a historic event because when we look back on this card, obviously the fights now have to deliver, but it is the greatest card ever assembled in UFC history and possibly ever in combat sports history.
That was my next question, where it ranks. And you've seen every card, and you say UFC 205 before a punch or a kick is thrown, this is the best card you've seen.
Even if you're a fan on the fringe and you dive in on the big fights here and there, everybody knows what a ridiculous card this is. 3 title fights, and even in the prelims, as you get down into the prelims, Jeremy Stephens versus Frankie Edgar, Khabib versus Michael Johnson, and the list just keeps going on and on. This card is just ridiculously stacked with great fights.
Your opinion's worth a lot more than mine. For whatever it's worth, I think it's, and I've been watching since UFC 31, 32. It's the biggest card I've ever seen. So I'm very excited to see it.
Thank you, sir.
The #1 attraction on that card is Conor McGregor, and he had the mother of all build-ups at UFC 196 with Nate Diaz. And peel back a little bit, although it was pretty much there in 202. When you see his preparations and how he has built this fight, how do you see Conor changing from those 2 cards to this one?
Yeah, I mean, Conor is not only an incredible fighter. You know, one of the things that I respect the most about Conor is usually guys that get to that level where they're making so much money and every time they fight so much is on the line, they become more cautious and they don't, you know, they don't do things they would have done when they were younger coming up. Conor puts all the chips on the table every time he fights. Literally, when this guy steps out of the octagon, he's the only fighter in history who's asking me, I want to be on the New York card next, or
really?
I want to, oh yeah. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. People love to hate the guy, but you cannot deny that this kid is exciting to watch. Tell me the last boring Conor McGregor fight you saw. You know, nothing the guy does is boring. His press conferences are exciting. You know, his weigh-ins are exciting, and his fights are even more exciting.
He has an incredible gift of gab, and he has you at his every word. And I think that's a big part about being the star power. When you look at creating these stars, which is the lifeblood of what you guys do, what do you look to do? You have a great group of guys for UFC 205. What do you look to do to unearth that next big guy?
Yeah, it's more than just talking, though. You have to back up everything that you say.
Yeah.
And that guy has done that. That's what makes him so entertaining and so exciting. He not only, you know, he's probably the best ever in the history of the sport, or combat sports, as far as mental warfare goes. He's the best at it. He gets under people's skin. He gets in people's heads before, during, and after the fight, and then he goes in there and he's incredibly talented. As far as the rest of the stars, I mean, you know, when you have a fight that's this big, all these guys have to do. I have the best of the best on this card. They just need to go out and do what they do and deliver. And believe me, Joanna Jędrzejczyk is one of the nastiest female fighters ever. She's the 115-pound champion. You know, Tyron Woodley is taking on Wonder Boy Thompson, which will be a ridiculous fight. And like I said, the undercard is could all be main events on other cards.
As a Cuban guy, I see my guy Yoel Romero like 4 or 5 deep. I got to check in early. I don't think you want to miss a blow of this card.
That's a great fight, you know, and you know, the winner of that fight is probably going to determine who gets the next title shot at 185 pounds. But
we got a lot of handsome bald fellow on the set right now. It's UFC 205. It's New York City. It's the Garden. It's Saturday night, man. I can't imagine the level of excitement. It's only Tuesday. How do you manage just sort of the not anxiousness, but the excitement between now and then?
Yeah, I got to New York on Sunday, and it really won't start hitting me till probably Thursday. Thursday's our press conference, and Friday are the weigh-ins, and then obviously when I walk into the Garden on Saturday night, it's gonna be special. It's gonna be one of those moments. There's very few of these moments that I take in, but Saturday I'm gonna.
Good, and you should, right? I mean, I'm a big believer in that. You got to take a second just to stop and look around and take inventory, because if you don't, you miss all the good stuff.
I don't do it enough.
Well, do it Saturday.
Yeah.
Not that you need advice from me. Now, one of the things you're great at, and I mean great at this, and it's your job is to sell and to promote. And when it comes to cards, I don't remember ever hearing like UFC 190 whatever, and you're like,
Right.
Never.
Right.
But what makes Saturday's card particularly stand out to you?
Well, first of all, if you look at the battle we've had over the last 8 years to get into New York, right, number one, and I believe that all that fighting and the build-up and everything made this even bigger, this moment even bigger. I built the biggest, baddest card, not only in UFC history, but probably in the history of combat sports. From top to bottom, this whole card, if I started halfway through the prelims, these guys could headline. Even the casual fan